Travis Barker is the perfect example of a man, like many men, who don't end up with the girl they want. They end up with the person they could get. Travis's dream girl is Kim, but Kim didn't want his ass, so he got second best, her sister, Kourtney. Now look at Kourtney, drained, saying she wants to wear pajamas all day, just like his ex-wife ended up doing. Doesn't wear makeup, doesn't take care of herself. He treats her like shit because she is not who he wants.
We really need to talk about Kourtney and Travis because the internet has been loud about this situation. A lot of people are calling Travis toxic. They're saying he's controlling Kourtney, that he changed her, that he slowly pulled her away from her own family. Some are even claiming this is a pattern with him, not just something random. The chatter has been non-stop, and it's not just random gossip pages either. It's fans, longtime viewers, and even people who used to defend their relationship. And the clips people have been pulling, they've been dissecting every little detail. There are specific moments from the show that folks keep replaying, things Kourtney has said, things Travis has said, scenes where the vibe just feels off. People aren't just making claims out of thin air. They're pointing to episodes, interviews, body language, even small comments that they think reveal something deeper. And when you stack all those moments together, it starts to paint a picture that has people seriously side-eyeing the whole relationship. Like, if you've kept up with the Kardashians over the years, then you already know Kourtney has been painted as the villain for a while. She's been clashing with her sisters, especially Kim. She's come off distant, annoyed over it. For seasons now, the narrative has been, why doesn't she just quit? But everyone knows why she doesn't. The show is part of the family empire. It's business. It's contracts. Even if she doesn't love filming, it's still tied to her lifestyle. Still, there's been this growing conversation that she hasn't just been annoyed, she's been different. A lot of people say that shift became way more obvious once she started dating Travis Barker. Since then, fans feel like she's been even more disconnected from her sisters. Now they're married, they share a child, their families are blended, and from the outside, it looks like a full merge. But critics are saying it feels more like a takeover. They think he's heavily influencing her choices, her priorities, even how she moves in public. That's a serious accusation. This past season really turned up the heat. There was that episode where Travis had Kourtney run a 5K with him, and social media went wild. People were saying he pushed her into something she didn't even want to do. They felt like it wasn't supportive. It was controlling. The comment sections were brutal, and that's not the only thing people point to. They talk about her style changing, her tone being softer, almost molded. Some even say her friendships and her bond with her sisters seem strained in a different way now. The tension with her family isn't new, but lately fans are saying it feels more isolating. Like she's not just fighting with them, she's drifting away completely. On the last season of The Kardashians, the tension between Kourtney and Khloe really exploded. It wasn't just small shade or slick comments, it felt heavy. Khloe straight up said she felt like she was walking on eggshells around Kourtney. She claimed every interaction felt negative, like no matter what she did, it wasn't good enough. And that hurt her. You could see it on her face. This wasn't playful sister drama. This was frustration that had been building for a while. Things got even messier because of the family group chat. Yes, the group chat! Khloe found out Kourtney had been venting to Kim about her, saying negative things behind her back. Kourtney thought she had it handled though. She blocked Khloe and assumed that meant Khloe couldn't see what was being said in the chat anymore. But that's not how it worked. Khloe could still see the messages. So when she saw Kourtney complaining about her, it hit different. She felt betrayed. She was furious. And honestly, anyone would be heated finding out their sister was talking like that in a group chat. When Kourtney came over to Khloe's house to talk it out, the conversation got real. Khloe admitted she feels a clear separation now. She said it seems like Kourtney and Travis have their own bubble, their own family vibe, almost like a separate unit from the Kardashians. In her eyes, there's a divide, and it wasn't subtle. It felt like two families instead of one. That's a big statement coming from someone who's always been about family first. But Kourtney pushed back. She said this distance didn't start with Travis. According to her, she's felt misunderstood for years. She feels like her family doesn't really get her, doesn't respect her perspective, and sometimes dismisses her feelings. She explained that when she snaps, like in the group chat situation, it's because she's been holding things in for a long time. She says she pulls away to protect her peace, that when she doesn't show up to events or seems distant, it's not random, it's intentional. Kourtney also said the family dynamic just doesn't feel the same to her anymore. The energy shifted, the vibes changed. She claims there are so many reasons behind that feeling, even if she doesn't spell every single one out. And that right there is what has fans split. Some think she's finally standing in her truth. Others think she's drifting further away. Either way, the cracks are showing and they're hard to ignore.
I just watched the newest episode of The Kardashians and I wanted to talk about this scene right here. So Kourtney basically tells Travis, like, I don't want to do the run. I just want to stay in. I'm pretty tired. And Travis is like, no, you know, you've been running. You can come out and do the race with me. And Kourtney's like, well, I've only been running in like 1 to 2 minute intervals. Like, I haven't been running this much. And Travis is like, no, like, you should come out and do the race. You just have to put those 1 to 2 minute intervals all together and then you'll be good to go. And Kourtney says, like, no, I think I'm just here to cheer you on. I'm really tired and I think I'm just here to cheer you on. I don't want to run. And Travis basically is like, no, you guys, she's trying to cop out. And then he leaves the bus and he's like, okay, I'll see you out there. Kind of just putting an end to it and not really giving Kourtney a choice. And then in Kourtney's confessional, one of the producers asks her, and it's like, you seem like you really didn't want to run in the race. And she's like, you know, I really didn't. Like, I have nothing to prove to anybody and I was really tired and I really didn't want to run. And then we see Kourtney and Travis taking off from the starting line and Travis is like gripping Kourtney's hand and will not let go. So she has to keep up with his pace. Now, it's one thing if Travis is telling Kourtney like, hey, you don't even have to run, but will you at least participate and be there for me? But I feel like it's another thing when Travis is gripping onto Kourtney's hand, so she has to keep up with his pace. Mind you, she is a new mom.
Kourtney basically said she's built a whole new life with Travis. Between the two of them, they now have 7 kids in the mix, plus Travis has his career, his world, his routine. She didn't flat out say she prefers that life, but you could read between the lines. The way she talked about it made it clear she feels more grounded in that space. It's like that's where her focus is now. Khloe made it clear she doesn't blame Travis directly, but she can't ignore the timing. Ever since Kourtney got serious with him, there's been a noticeable shift in the family dynamic. And she admitted she doesn't really understand why. Kourtney also brought up something that clearly still bothers her. She said in the beginning of her relationship with Travis, she didn't feel supported by her family. She felt like the Kardashians were more comfortable backing Scott than embracing Travis. That stung. From her perspective, it felt like she had to defend her happiness instead of being celebrated for it. Khloe acknowledged there was tension, but she also pointed out that from their side, it felt like Kourtney was the one creating distance. The Christmas situation really showed how deep this runs. During her first Christmas with Travis, Kourtney didn't want to come over to see her mom. Chris ended up crying over it. Khloe basically told her, just because you have your own blended family now doesn't mean you stop showing up for your mom and sisters. That hit heavy. It wasn't about control, it was about feelings. And from their side, it felt like Kourtney was slowly choosing not to participate anymore. Kourtney pushed back again. She said when she watches the show back and sees her sisters talking about her after she leaves a room or hangs up the phone, it makes her not want to be around them at all. Why would she keep showing up if she feels judged the second she turns her back? That's her logic. She feels criticized and misunderstood, so she retreats. But Khloe tried to explain the other side. She said sometimes Kourtney can come off very judgmental, especially about parenting choices. She can seem dismissive, like her way is the only right way. And when she comes into family gatherings complaining or acting annoyed, people react to that energy. That's when the side conversations start. And watching it all unfold, it really feels like Kourtney is comfortable inside her bubble with Travis. She seems at peace there. But it also looks like she's choosing that bubble fully, even if it means letting the space between her and her sisters grow wider. Some viewers are convinced Travis is the mastermind behind all of it, that he's pulling strings and isolating her on purpose. But honestly, from how she speaks, it seems more like she's making that choice herself. She doesn't look forced, she looks decided. Now, people have also dragged Travis's past into this. They bring up his ex and claim he did the same thing before, tried to shape her into this rock star image and distance her from certain people. That narrative is floating around heavy online. But when you actually watch Kourtney in that sit down with Khloe last season, It doesn't look like someone being controlled. It looks like someone who's been feeling disconnected for a long time and finally found a reason to step back fully. And that's the part nobody wants to say out loud. It almost feels like Kourtney needed something solid to justify the distance she already felt. Travis just happened to be the turning point. Whether that's growth or avoidance depends on who you ask. But one thing is clear. This isn't just random drama. This is years of tension finally surfacing in a way nobody can ignore. Original word count, 472 words. Rewritten word count, 592 words. And honestly, some people feel like Travis gave her the perfect reason to fully detach. It's almost like she was already halfway out the door emotionally, and being with him just made it official. When they first started dating, she looked different, lighter, almost glowing. She wasn't just smiling, she looked relieved, like she finally found something that wasn't tied to the Kardashian machine. And that kind of happiness can be addictive. A lot of fans noticed how quickly her style shifted. The soft neutrals turned into leather and band tees. The polished vibe turned edgy. She leaned all the way into being the rock star wife. Some say that was her being in love. Others say it felt like she was reshaping herself to fit into his world. But maybe it was both. Maybe she was so ready to escape feeling boxed in that she embraced this new identity without hesitation. That early phase, they were glued to each other. Constant PDA. Over-the-top affection. It felt intense. Some called it passion. Others called it obsession. From the outside, it almost looked like she was excited to not just be Kourtney Kardashian for once. Not just the sister in the family brand. With Travis, she wasn't competing for storylines. She wasn't arguing about business deals. She was just the girlfriend, then the wife. And that seemed freeing for her. But once they had their baby, the energy shifted again. It feels like she moved from being Travis's biggest fan to fully stepping back into mom mode. Now she's in that newborn bubble, protective, focused, locked in. And when her sisters question her or push her about filming, it seems like she shuts down fast, almost like, don't mess with my peace. Don't interrupt this space I created. When she shows up to film, she often looks irritated. And maybe it's not that she hates her family. Maybe she just hates filming. There's a difference. If you don't want to be somewhere, but you have to show up because it's your job, that mood is going to show, then it becomes the storyline again. Kourtney's negative. Kourtney's miserable. Kourtney's hard to deal with. But what if she's just unhappy being part of something she mentally checked out of years ago? Still, people are side-eyeing Travis heavy. Some believe he pursued her knowing she was already drifting from her family. They bring up the old stories about him admitting in his book that he once had a crush on Kim. That part always resurfaces. Critics twist it into this narrative like, if he couldn't get Kim, he went for Kourtney. That's harsh, but it's out there. And when you combine that with how drastically her life looks now, it fuels even more speculation. What really throws people off is how different she feels compared to just a couple years ago. Think about her Addison Rae era, the TikTok dances, the playful posts, the random bestie energy. She seemed carefree and experimental in a totally different way. Someone even reposted a clip of her from a year before she dated Travis, and the contrast is wild. It almost feels like two different versions of her. She was super close with Addison at one point, and now you barely see them interact. That shift alone had fans talking. It's like when she chose this new bubble with Travis, she fully committed. New vibe, new circle, new priorities. And whether that's growth or isolation depends on how you look at it. But one thing is clear. This version of Kourtney is locked into the life she built, and she doesn't seem interested in stepping back into the old one.
Travis Barker is the perfect example of a man, like many men, who don't end up with the girl they want. They end up with the person they could get. Travis's dream girl is Kim, but Kim didn't want his ass, so he got second best, her sister, Kourtney. Now look at Kourtney, drained, saying she wants to wear pajamas all day, just like his ex-wife ended up doing. Doesn't wear makeup, doesn't take care of herself. He treats her like shit because she is not who he wants.
Original word count, 356 words. Rewritten word count, 472 words. It really feels like Kourtney has always been searching for somewhere she truly fits. For a minute, that place looked like it was with Addison. That friendship was fun, carefree, almost like she was experimenting with a different version of herself. Then that chapter faded, and now it seems like all of that energy is centered on Travis. almost like she shifted her sense of belonging completely into this marriage. Online, though, people are not letting this slide. There are posts comparing Kourtney before and Kourtney during, showing clips of her crying, arguing, looking stressed, dressing differently. Some captions straight up say, "I will always think of this relationship as dark. That's heavy." And once a narrative like that starts trending, it spreads fast. Suddenly, every old clip gets re-examined through that lens. Now, is Travis actually creating a toxic environment? Nobody outside that house truly knows. Some claim he feeds into her frustration with the Kardashian brand. Others say he encourages her independence. There's a big difference between manipulation and mutual distancing, and the internet tends to blur that line. What's clear is that Kourtney seems genuinely eager to separate herself from the Kardashian image. She's leaned into his music world, his style, his aesthetic, buying what he likes, dressing how he dresses, living in that vibe. Whether that's love or reinvention depends on how you see it. At the same time, since having her baby, she does seem more grounded. The extreme PDA toned down. The constant over-the-top Instagram moments slowed. She's not posting wild makeout clips every other day. The rocker edge softened a bit. It feels less performative and more settled, like she's not trying to prove anything anymore. That shift alone makes some people rethink the whole dark relationship narrative. But the chatter hasn't stopped. A lot of it really comes down to one question. Is Travis changing her, or is she finally acting on feelings she's had about her family for years? Because when you strip away the leather jackets and the headlines, this looks deeper than just a relationship. It looks like someone who may have been emotionally distancing herself long before Travis entered the picture. Some fans swear he made her anti-Kardashian. Others believe that side of her was always there, just waiting for the right moment to come out, and that's the real debate. All right, that's where we're gonna leave it for today. This whole situation is layered, messy, and still unfolding, and you already know we're keeping our eyes on every move. Whether you think she found her peace or lost herself in the process, one thing's for sure, the conversation is not slowing down anytime soon. I want to hear what you think, though. Is this growth? Is it distance? Or is it something deeper that we're all just watching play out in real time? Drop your thoughts below and keep it respectful. And before you head out, make sure you smash that like button if you're rocking with us, tap subscribe if you're a real one, and hit that notification bell so you don't miss a single update. Trust me, you're gonna want to be here for the next one.